In my village, people say one thing that nobody dares to test. If you hear your name in the forest at night, do not answer, because the one calling you is not human. And once you reply, the forest keeps your voice forever. This story is about Kweku, the boy who tried to be brave and never came home. The village of Nyamibea sat near a deep, dark forest that older people feared. During the day, the forest looked normal, tall trees, green leaves, birds singing. But at night, everything changed. The forest became quiet, too quiet, like something inside was waiting for someone to make a mistake. Children were warned, do not go there after sunset. But Kweku, a stubborn boy with too much confidence, laughed when he heard these warnings. One evening, while families were cooking and smoke rose into the orange sky, the men told scary stories near the fire. One of the elders, a man named Old Kobia, said calmly, "Kweku, the forest listens. It hears pride, it hears laughter, and it answers back. Do not walk there at night." Kweku smiled. "These are only stories, Grandpa. Nothing is in that forest except trees." People around the fire went quiet. Even the crackling fire felt nervous. Old Kobia lifted his old, wrinkled hand and pointed at the forest. "Laugh if you want, but the trees do not forget insults." That night, when the moon was thin like a broken bowl and the crickets suddenly stopped singing, Kweku made a foolish decision. He whispered to himself, "I will go into the forest and prove them wrong." So he took a small lantern, held it tightly, and walked alone toward the dark trees. With each step away from the village lights, his heartbeat grew louder. When he reached the edge of the forest, the warm air changed. The smell of firewood from the village disappeared. The wind stopped moving. The night became heavy, like it was pressing on his skin. Still, he stepped inside. The forest swallowed him whole. As Kweku walked deeper, the trees stood tall, twisting like old spirits stretching their arms. The lantern made small circles of light on the ground, but everything outside the light looked alive. He took one step. He heard another step behind him. He stopped. The echo stopped. He walked again. Another soft step followed. "Kweku," a voice whispered from somewhere in the blackness. His heart froze. He turned around, but he saw only trees standing silently, watching him. "Kweku." The voice came again, soft and calm, but not human, too smooth, too empty, too hungry. He remembered Old Kobia's warning, "Do not answer." So he kept walking. His hands shook. Sweat dripped down his back. "Kweku, why are you running?" the voice asked. But he wasn't running, yet. He picked up his pace. The trees seemed to move. Their shadows changed shape. Their trunks curved as if bending to look at him. Then his lantern flickered again, went out. Darkness covered him like a cold cloth. He held his breath. "Kweku," the voice said, right behind him, very close, breathing down his neck. He ran. His feet hit roots, stones, leaves, branches scratched his arms, his lungs burned, but fear pushed him forward. He didn't know where he was going. The forest paths twisted like living snakes. The voice changed. It now sounded like his teacher, then his uncle, then his little sister. "Kweku! Kweku, come here!" He kept running, but then the voice changed again. This time, it sounded exactly like his mother. "My son, where are you? Kweku, please answer me." He stopped. His chest tightened. His mother's voice was full of pain and worry. It sounded real, too real. Tears filled his eyes. He almost replied. But then he remembered something. His mother never entered the forest at night. Never. He covered his mouth with his hands and forced himself to stay quiet. The voice suddenly turned deep and angry. "You know I am not your mother, so answer me now." The trees around him shook violently. Leaves fell like rain. The ground vibrated like a drum. Kweku dropped to his knees. He stared at the darkness in front of him, and then something stepped out. He didn't see a face. He didn't see a body, just a tall, thin shadow, darker than the night behind it. Its shape shifted slowly, as if trying out different forms. Its eyes were two tiny lights floating in the dark. It moved around him, without touching the ground. "You came to my forest," the spirit whispered. "You laughed at us. Now answer me, or stay here forever." Kweku kept quiet. The spirit circled him again, slow like a hungry animal choosing where to bite. "I will ask only once more." Its voice was soft now, like a breeze before a storm. "Kweku, answer me." Silence. Kweku squeezed his eyes shut. "No," he whispered. The forest froze. Then the spirit let out a long, low sound, a deep noise that made the trees bend, the birds fly away, and the ground open slightly like a mouth. "You have chosen!" Kweku screamed as the darkness wrapped around him like hands made of cold smoke. And then, nothing. At sunrise, the villagers searched everywhere. They called his name until their voices cracked. They found only one thing: his lantern, still warm, as if his hand had just let go. Old Kobia stood at the forest entrance and listened. Far away, deep in the trees, he heard a voice, soft, scared, calling, "Kweku, Kweku, help me." But old Kobia did not enter. He shook his head slowly. "That is not the boy," he said. "That is the forest using his voice now." From that day, if you walk near the forest at night, you may hear someone calling you. It may sound like your friend. It may sound like your mother. It may sound like a child crying. But remember the rule of Nyamibia. If you hear your name in the forest, do not answer, because the forest never returns the voices it steals.